Next, we have Mr. Talant Sultanov, excuse me for my pronunciation, from Kyrgyzstan. He's the chair of the Internet Society of Kyrgyz chapter, and he's going to talk about how drones helped in landlocked mountainous countries. And to speak more about him, Mr. Talant is the chair and co-founder of the Kyrgyz Internet Society and is the expert at the Taza Kum Center for Strategic Initiatives in Bishkek, Kyrgyz Republic. He has worked in the Kyrgyz government as the advisor to the prime minister. That is very impressive. And as the coordinator of the Taza Kum National Digital Transformation Program, and as the director of the National Institute of Strategic Studies. He has worked in the past in the World Bank, Almaty, and Washington offices, and his other positions include CFO of the American University of Central Asia in Bishkek, and the list goes on. Uh, uh, Thank you, sir, for the uh, showing what you. We are really excited to hear what you have to say today on drones and in such a tricky terrain like Kyrgyzstan. And thank you so much, and take over.
Thanks so much, Chair. Thanks so much for this kind introduction. It's a great pleasure to be part of this very important conference. I come from a country which is actually not too far from India. By plane, it's only 2 hours. However, the terrain is very complex, and as you can see in the photo in my background, between our countries, there are very high mountains ranges. And of course, I think for our countries, drones become very important tool. So I put together some slides. I'll try to show them. If I can't, I'll just speak. Let me see PowerPoint. Okay, I think it's working. Yeah. And yeah, I'll try to make it full screen. But I guess, so in order to save time, I'll show it like this, just to say that in case participants have not heard about Kyrgyz Republic yet, I'll briefly introduce. Of course, we are a very mountainous, landlocked country, and there were previous participants from Nepal. I think we have very similar conditions. 90% mountainous country, half of the country is over 3,000 meters. And there are, of course, many communities who live in remote parts of the country, unconnected. Sometimes there are no roads, no TV, no electricity. And in our organization, we are trying to bring internet connectivity to such places, and with that, other services. And I just wanted to mention one example where we are working. This is a village called Zardaly, in the border of Kyrgyzstan with Tajikistan. And this village has no infrastructure, and very remote. And we wanted to bring internet connectivity to this village. And 1 second. Султанчик, можно я выступлю, да? Я выступаю, хорошо? I have one more participant, if you don't mind, so we'll speak together. And in order to get to this village, the photo on the right, you can see you had to go through very narrow mountain, little roads. But this year, because of the floods, even these roads were gone. And if in the past it took us 1 day from the nearest village to get to this place, this year our engineers traveled for 4 days because there were no roads over rivers, carrying all this equipment. And when we posted these photographs, our friends around the world told us that, there are new technologies, drone technologies that potentially could help you in your work. And that's why when we got this invitation to participate in this conference, we gladly used this opportunity to present this case as a demonstration for where drone technologies could be useful. And luckily, we were able to get all this equipment to the village. And of course, if we had the right drone technologies, maybe the village would have been connected much faster. Another case where we are working is called Engilchek, and in this photo you can see your humble servant. But I wanted to show that to get to this village, you have to cross over these really difficult areas. And when we went to this village, an elderly gentleman. He is in the 70s, retired doctor, the only doctor in the village, approached us saying that, especially during the pandemic when everything was blocked, we were really isolated. And when people got sick, we didn't know what to do. And we cannot uh, predict what's going to happen to the road that connects to this village. And sometimes we just take risk and take the people who are sick through this road. And for example, if it's blocked by snow kind of avalanches, it's going to be really, really life-threatening situations. And I think for these kinds of villages, if we could use drones, like the previous presenter mentioned, for health purposes, I think it indeed would save a lot of lives. And this location, Englecheck, is a very famous location because there are, of course, we cannot brag to say that we have, Mount Everest, but we have some 7,000 peaks in this area. Lots of tourists pass by, and sometimes they take great risk because if something happens, there is really no communication to kind of to inform. No, садись. And another case I wanted to present is a village called Akshirat. This is a village also very remote, and it's very famous for preserving snow leopards. And thanks to the Snow Leopard Trust, which is run by our friends from India, actually, and it's a joint international effort, this village is participating in this program of helping save the snow leopard. And for example, if they see poachers, they will report on them. They will try to save kind of the habitat for the snow leopard. And the way they earn income is by bringing tourists to this place and by making goods like in the photo on the left. However, to deliver these goods, so sorry. So to deliver these products to the market, the representatives from Snow Leopard Trust have to visit this village every 3, maybe 2 months, and the road takes 2 days just to get there. But I think the drone technologies could help deliver goods to the village, and actually on the flight back, they could bring these products that the villagers are producing, and this could help the economic and social situation in the village. And I would like to conclude my brief presentation, not to take too much time. I think drones are new technology that require kind of a lot of training, especially in developing countries. So in Kyrgyzstan, we have very few people who know how to manage drones, how to operate them. But Kyrgyzstan in the past was very famous for its pilot training school. And it was an example of South-South cooperation with many famous leaders from Asia, Africa, Latin America had studied in the school. For example, from Egypt, Hosni Mubarak, from Syria, Hafez Assad had studied in this pilot school, and many students from India, and we have many participants from India in this conference. That's why I highlighted students from India, and you can see on the photo on the right the group of students from India, and some of the famous students who studied here is the Mr. Dilba Singh, who became, I guess, one of 2 marshals in India, and he was the head of the Air Force in India. And the first person from India to fly to space, Mr. Rakesh Sharma in the photo here, he was also a student in this school. The reason I talk about the school is that Kyrgyzstan or countries like Kyrgyzstan, developing countries, could put a lot of effort in training programs for producing professional drone operators. And I think that way, skills in using these technologies would also help developing countries accomplish social and development goals. And with that, I would like to conclude my brief intervention. And back to you, Chair. Thank you.